The color of water, do you think it matters if it's clear or if it's murky? Okay. Lauren, does it matter? No, right. So you can have the clearest water ever and you can still have high sulfates in that water, so it can be kind of deceiving. And there's other pieces we test for, like if you're worried about blue-green algae or that kind of stuff, let us know. If you're worried about some E. coli, that kind of thing in your water too, let us know. Generally what we need is a 1 liter sample, and so we've got these bottles, some at the booth, so if you guys want some of these to take home, let us know. You can also bring it in any kind of cleaned out bottle, like an old pop bottle, an old milk jug. We've seen them all, so bring it in. And what we can do right in our offices is test the connectivity with these meters that we have. And so that gives us an idea of what the TDS of the water is, what the sulfate levels are. And then if it's pretty high, we can, oh, there's a kitty cat. We can set it on for further testing at the labs. And so, yeah, for the most part, just collect it in these sample bottles, bring it into the office, and we can send it away for you if we need to. If you want to do the blue-green algae, the toxins associated with that, or you want to do bacteria testing, then just give us a shout and we'll tell you there's a different protocol for it. So that's kind of a quick blurb on water testing with the Ministry of Agriculture. So I'll let maybe Karen, you want to go, and then if any questions after, come find us, or you can ask questions now. Do you want to go, Karen? And then,
yep, I can go. I don't have much of a presentation plan, so I'll be even quicker than Natasha. So I grab them. Hi everyone, Karen Smith. I'm the Ag Program Specialist here in the Tisdale Regional Office. So Natasha had mentioned there's 10 offices across the province. We have 7 Ag Program Specialists situated in a lot of those offices. So we are available to talk to you about programming that we have. Our Sustainable Canadian Ag Partnership programming started April 1st, so that replaces the old CAP programming. And just quickly, how many people are familiar with the CAP programming, the old funding? So a few people. Okay, so this is a program that is available to ag producers. We do have some programs that are specific for bison. So the Animal Health and Biosecurity Program essentially is the assurance program. It's just had a name change, and so there's funding available for producers to purchase animal handling and equipment and that sort of stuff. So there's a few steps to go through, and there's a whole suite of programming. We also have funding available for wells, dugouts, and pipelines if you're looking to do a new water development project. So I have all the information over at the booth, so come and talk to me and I can answer your questions.
I'll be even faster than sure. My name is Jennifer Hayden. I'm the Livestock and Feed Extension Specialist out of the North Battleford office. So Natasha probably told you this, but there's 10 of us across the province. There are 10 of those offices. Each office has probes for feed testing, if that's something that you're interested in. How many people are currently feed testing? Oh, a few. Good. Yeah, so if you need a probe for testing, that is where you'll go. If you're lucky, the office will have one that attaches to an 18-volt drill. Makes life a lot easier than using a hand crank. And you don't need a lot of supplies. You need some kind of like an ice cream pail or a 5-gallon pail to mix your samples in. You can get bags from the offices as well. To put those in, just make sure you label them really well so that you know what they are, not just 1, 2, 3, but you know, are they alfalfa grass, is it a green feed sample, whatever it is. There's a sampling sheet at the booth as well if you need some further information on that. And yeah, just give us a call, we can help you out with the feed testing.
And I'll just introduce myself. I know some of you, Alicia Sapatic, I'm the livestock specialist here, based out of Tisdale for the Northeast. So excited to have everyone here and part of this field day, so thank you for partaking in that. And if you haven't ever taken partner services, I really encourage you to do so. It's free and easy to do, and why wouldn't you take advantage of some government money, I guess. Government time, right? All the good things. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Brian.
Yeah, we're fortunate we actually have a pretty good complement, and I apologize to our friends in Manitoba and Alberta, but Saskatchewan still does have a fairly robust extension service to deliver programs with, so we're fortunate here. The only other person I have on my list, Bridget, do you want to wave your hand, stand up, stand on the table even, I mean. trust me, I've done it before. Yeah. Bridget, summer student or intern? I can't remember. Summer student? Yeah, up in this area, right? Yeah. Bridget's got the list, so if you haven't signed in yet, just check in with her through the day and make sure you get your name on that list. Did you want Bridget to say anything? Was that part of the plan? I don't have any notes for that, but do you want to embarrass her? Okay, well, thanks, Bridget. We're done. I guess now the next on the list, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Good. Lonnie, I've got you on my list as come up and do a bit of a chat before lunch.
Murray, I got a quick question.
Oh no.
So I know we just talked about water sampling and feed sampling and very few hands went up. Have you ever asked producers why they don't do it? Is there any backlash that why producers aren't testing?
There's been surveys that they've been trying to do, and you guys jump in if I've got this wrong, but yeah, first, I think it's the time, probably a lot of it, or just maybe not aware of the services that are offered, or unsure of what feed testing company to send it to. And so I don't know if we need to advertise our services a bit more to kind of get the information out there, or, I don't know, have you guys heard from any producers as to what? Yeah,
Can I say something?
yeah, you can, absolutely.
Nobody's had a wreck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Like when I've taken over this ranch and stuff, we had a lot of issues with different animals around the place. It didn't matter whether it was calves, yearlings, older cows, bulls, whatever. There was a mineral deficiency within the herd, and there was other problems also. That's why we did all the water testing. I contacted this group, and I worked with anybody that would help me to figure out where my problem was. So once we got it established that there was nothing wrong with the water, there was nothing wrong with the feed, then we could chase other things. And we found that the mineral packs that were being used weren't strong enough for what the animals needed on this particular dirt. Like my north pastures versus my south pastures are completely different for soil types. As you can see, as you drove around the yard and stuff, I'm sitting on a gravel pile virtually. So my stuff to the north, I got lots of sands, lighter soils. Here towards the river bend and stuff, and then along the river, it's a different type of soil, more rockier, heavier soil. So my mineral packs changed from the north to the south. And I think that was one major reason that nobody uses these guys' services, because we haven't had that big wreck. Like when I took over, I had like a good windstorm to blow an animal over. Like it was a bad situation. We've completely turned that around with these guys here helping me out do all the testing and stuff.
Well, as far as the wreck, you're calling animals dying, correct?
Animals dying, calf crop was really low, like 40–30%. Bulls that should be in their prime weren't doing their job. Semen testing was horrible. Like there was just, everything was
Let's look at it this way, how many people feed buffalo in the wintertime?
all of us did.
How do you know they're getting the proper nutrition if you're not feed testing?
Well, and that's one
they
of the
look
big
You
things.
can boost the pounds on your calves substantially if you know what you're feeding them. How many people here buy feed?
We've all got feed, I'm sure.
Do you get it tested before buying it?
I have, yes.
It's very important. You know, grain samples can't go to an elevator without being tested.
Yep.
Why are we spending big money on feed on the wind that maybe it's good?
Do you want to do a testimonial video for us?
You know, we've got a cow, we've
That's
been
right.
in the industry for over 20 years, and it maybe not frustrating, but it's with a $100 test, with a $50 test, nobody knows what they're putting into their animal.
Well, that's a good point too, you're buying high cut-out feed these days, you don't keep anymore, so.
And you know, on the drill here, guys in their area were selling thistle for $100 a bale. And people were buying it because they thought it was just upland hay. Well, it was garbage. And then the next guy got it. We had a cattle guy next to us, brought in a bunch of custom cows, didn't do a feed test, lost 100 of them. They had ergot. Like, very, very important to know what we're putting into our animals. It is going to put money in your pocket at the end of the day. Same with water. Everyone, or maybe not everybody uses a mineral pack, but get it tailored to your water supply. Get it tailored to your winter feed supply. At the end of the day, it is going to make you money. And these ladies in offices are there to help us.
full disclosure, we did not pay these guys. Nice words about government, but what's in the water?
Keegan and Lonnie are both right. I didn't start testing water until I had a rat. So I started getting sick animals. We didn't lose any. We got sick animals, and now I test everything.
Feed changes year to year. You have a big wet spring, your feed quality is going to be shit. I don't care what anybody says. If it's so waterlogged, you're not going to have high quality feed. Therefore, you may need to tailor your mineral package going into winter.
And I think with water, sometimes we find too that maybe you haven't had an extreme wreck or haven't had a poor herd starting out, but your production is maybe subpar, and so you're thinking, oh, maybe it was a bad bull or flies were bad this year or something else. There's a million different reasons for poor production, and you would maybe never attribute it to that, or oh, I drank the same water, so it's good enough for me, it's good enough for them type thing. So that's an easy, quick win and absolutely free for livestock producers here in this province. Feed testing, yes, you do have to pay for the test, but it's well worth it to increase production and to just manage that, like you said, mineral pack and everything else. So we can certainly help with that, whether it's taking those tests, sending them away, filling out the form sometimes is a hard one for people to get over, and where do I send it and what do I do, but that's part of our role. So yeah, definitely if you haven't taken advantage of it, please call us.
To answer your question, why people don't feed test, that's pretty easy. It's a tough one because it's like you're saying, it's a perspective-driven idea. If you're a dairy farmer, you're testing every time you roll into that silage pit because you're measuring output in hundreds of pounds every day from one cow, so you know exactly what the impact is going to be. As you move from dairy into cattle feedlots to cow-calf, it takes 9 months to see the impact of a bad nutrition program. And if you've seen some of my slides before about mineral nutrition, you don't actually start seeing deficiency symptoms until they're so depleted that curve, they're way down before they actually start showing symptoms. And it takes a little correcting for that. I thought why nobody feed tests is because I thought y'all had a good nutritional basis and listened to a lot of my talks before. So I wasn't. Now I'm starting to eat my words because nobody's feed testing. Yeah, but sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of, if you have a pasture, what kind of grass is ideal in there for bison? Does it matter, like alfalfa or does it have to be special grasses? What do they do really well on?
Yeah,
What's that?
I think we're having some speakers to talk about grass and pasture. You know what?
Okay.
Bison do have a preference for grass. I mean, the studies that come out of old studies from the parks and research, grasses are sort of their preference.
Okay.
Relative to against an alfalfa or a clover or some legumes. So there's a flavor piece.
Like rescue grass or some other grass that you grow.
Right. But, forage, and I'm out of my league a little bit when it comes to the agronomy of forages.
Okay.
But what I would say, back me up on this, is that, if you put down different seed patterns to match your soil profile and get the right rains, then you've got some good grass. And it has to be fairly grazing resistant as well as it's got to catch and grow and all the rest. The legume grass mixes, in terms of putting tame forages down, that's always a good blend because the legumes feed the grass and keeps the grass healthy for a longer period. So they complement each other. Okay. So the grass swiped right to the alfalfa swiping left, and then they made a perfect match. Is that the way you would phrase it?
Yeah, I've been instead of trying to concentrate at my place on one specific grass or something that they like, and then my land is all variable, so it's all high, dry, gravel, clay, sand, I've got it all, and sloughs and everything. So I've just been putting real diverse mixtures down with 4 or 5 different grasses in, and then clovers, Alsite clover and red clover and stuff grow good at home too, and sandpoint and everything does okay, I guess. But so I've been throwing big blends of everything, and the new programs that are out now too, they really fund that proper. Like I've got one blend this year that'll end up getting over $200 an acre back from the government funding because they're giving us money for pollinator species. So you can look at it that 2 ways. You can look at it as you're seeding cheap stuff, or you can look at it as an opportunity to try new seeds that we didn't try before. And I've been grazing really heavy red clover and stuff the last few years. And the bison love it, and I was worried there's some estrogen blocker type stuff, so I was worried about fertility a little bit, but I've used it for flushing my cows the last 2 years, and everything calves quick and fast and on time. So I kind of don't worry about anything, but just plant everything. It gets pricey, but it works really well.
So if there's a mixture of grass and clover and alfalfa kind of all mixed in, that should be okay.
Yeah, I haven't had issues. And I've grazed we're lucky with our bloat-free animals. So I have gray stuff that would kill cows really quick. A little bit stressed in the beginning, but it works out fine. So,
Mine don't seem to eat alfalfa.
yeah, alfalfa's probably their,
Alfalfa's this high, so it catches snow, so that's good.
yeah, that's the way I look at it too. It's probably their least favorite legume of
I
anything.
can tell you a trick how to get them to eat it though. Straw bales. You put straw bales out in your pasture. They need that binder. They need that fiber. They seek it, you know, and they don't like alfalfa because they get too gassy. Like, I mean, sure they can eat it and they're not going to bloat, but they can only eat a small amount of it, and then they got to eat something else. But you put a straw bale out there, or, you know, you'd be surprised how they disappear, you know, and it's just that fiber, that binder, you know, they seek it. If you watch how they graze in a day, where they, you know, like they're eating different grasses throughout the day. Well, flax straw works too, you know, but any kind of straw, any kind of fiber, roughage, you know, like when they graze throughout the day, they're eating different grasses. You know, if you watch, you know, like if you got bush, you know, they'll go there before nap time, and then, you know, they can eat some coarser stuff to tighten them up, and then they lay down and have their nap and rest, and, you know, it just, they're all about digestion, you know, and I always say, like, if all you do is eat for a living, you get good at it, you know, you tend to know, you know.
And to Ryan's point too, like straw is a good cheap supplement, and I don't care. I feed more straw in the summertime than the wintertime. I'll just have it sitting out there, and then when they do graze them heavy legume pastures, they eat it and it balances out their rumen.
And the only caveat with flax straw, go with a year old, because fresh flax straw, it's tougher than nails, and nothing eats it, and then the next year it's like candy. Don't know why.
Elements, it breaks down, just being exposed to the elements, it breaks down any kind of straw, and that's like a known, like I never feed fresh straw, it's always year-old, 2-year-old, and all it is that because there's so much fiber in it, it takes so much energy for them to digest it. But if it's a year old, it's been exposed to the elements, and it just breaks down, like just sitting in the air, just a bale, you know, they even shrink through a year, or, you know, it kind of breaks down, and it's just easier for them to digest. They don't have to, you know, the fiber is easier to digest. But
Any more questions from anybody on handling, grass, whatever? There's a room full of smart people here. Not me, but there's other people.
So I think what we had on the agenda is we were going to start, like Lonnie was going to come up and do a bit of a spiel on, I think it was handling, right?
Well, everything that's here.
Yeah, on everything that's here and so on. I think what we're going to do is break for lunch, and I don't know, do you want to come back earlier? Or just same time?
Oh, we'll shoot for 1 minute.
Shoot for 1 o'clock. Yeah, okay, because then you're the boss after that for the next while. We've got a little bit of chatting going on. So why don't we do that, break for lunch. I would just want to say thanks to everybody and for a good morning. Thanks for the good presentations. And we'll break and hook up again for lunch. And I'll stop talking.